let's now continue with our developments for the controller. So what we have done so far, so you can see that this particular method over here called compute BMI button clicked has been attached to the GUI components over here called, for the button here with the ID over here, button compute over here. And then we have specified this particular method here, compute BMI button clicked, for the on-click attributes. And we can also see that from the design graphical view over here. You can see for the button compute, for the on-click over here, a little bit way to the bottom there, look for O. You can see on-click has been set for compute BMI button clicked. Okay, that's what we have done. And then we define two helper methods over here, for which you don't have to worry too much about it now. For your lab exercises, you can just copy and paste them and use them by calling them. Okay, so the first one is going to say, given the ID of some text view, for example, in this case, the answer text view over here, given its ID, in this case, label answer, given that we can change its contents into some new contents, for example, the computational result for the BMI. And the second helper method is also going to take some ID, but this kind of ID is going to be of some text field which has been entered some user input. For example, over here, we got 3 different text fields. This text field here has ID input name. This text field here has input name, has ID input weights, and this text field over here has the ID input heights. So these are the 3 text fields for which we can retrieve their user enter inputs. You can see that we were trying to use the first helper method over here, the second helper method over here. Let me just show you again. You can see that if you try to put your mouse over this method here, you can see it has highlighted all the occurrences of calling this particular method. You can see this one here, and this one here. And also these methods correspond to this method here. Okay, so we're just calling the methods. We'll talk about how you can call, how you can make method calls to helper methods a little bit later. Okay, and then we say we're gonna change the answer label over here to somehow just to summarize what we have got so far, and then we relaunch the app. Okay, so it actually becomes a little bit more useful than the previous version where we only got the view implemented without a controller. But again, still, this display over here still is not very satisfactory because we haven't done any computation. But now, how do we do computation? Okay, let me just comment this out. So now, by putting double / around this line here, I'm commenting out this line so that it's not executed. Okay, so now let's keep going. So let's say we got this contents over here. So these are only for illustration for you. Okay, let's say these 2 lines. Commenting out these 2. Okay, you can leave them. If you want to execute them, you can comment them back. Okay, so now, phase 2, based on the information retrieved, display them. Okay, that's a phase 2. And now, let's say we can have some alternative phase 2. Alternative phase 2. So now, based on the information retrieved, convert them into numbers if necessary. Okay, so now this is one caution you have to remember. Every input value that the user enter is retrieved as a string. Okay, let me just show you what I really mean. So now over here, when I enter the name Jackie, if Jackie is going to be retrieved as a string, Jackie. So now if I enter the weights, let's say 70, but 70 is not going to be retrieved as a number. It's going to be retrieved as a string with character 7 followed by character 0. Okay, 7 and 0. So somehow we have to convert this string 70 into 70. And similarly, when I enter the height 1.7 as a user, when I retrieve this to the controller, it's going to be 1.7. It's like a string of 3 characters inside. Okay, I'll just write it down. When the user enters the name, Jackie is retrieved by controller as a string. So the way we do string is by using double quotes, as Jackie. When the user enters, let's say the weights, let's say 70, it's retrieved as, now in this case it's not really 70, it's 70, i.e. a string of 2 characters. And the first character is 7 and the second character is 0. It's not a number. Similarly, the height 1.7 or 1.70, let's say, it's retrieved as 1.70, i.e. a string of 3 characters. So the first character 1, second character dot, oh actually 4 characters, beg your pardon, should be 4. Should be 4 characters. So the first character 1, second character dot, third character 7, and fourth character 0. Okay, so now we got to do some conversion. Conversion, there's a standard way of doing it. I'll show you how you can do it. So there's no conversion needed for the name, because name is just a string. Okay, so now how do we do conversion for the weight and heights? Conversions for weight and height. So how do we do it? Okay, over here we're going to say for number we have to declare double. Okay, we talk about these data types a little bit later in the course. Double. Okay, we can say weights is assigned to double. Okay, choose the second one, java.len, double dot parse double, and then text weights. So this method call over here is going to say we're going to, whatever the text it is, for example, let's say the weights is 70. We're going to parse 70 as a string into 70. And similarly, we're going to parse 1.70 into 1.70. That's what we'll do. Okay. And after these, we can do calculation. Is double dot parse double text. Okay, so now let's do the conversion. Okay, let's do the computation. BMI is, let's do weights divided by the square of the heights. Height multiplied by height. So the multiplication in Java is simply a star. Okay, and then we can say height multiply height will be the square of the heights. So now you can see why the conversion is necessary. If we did not do these 2 lines of conversions over here, well, if you simply say text weights and text height, if you actually say text weight over here and text height over here, it wouldn't work, because in order to do multiplication and division, you must have numbers rather than just string. That's why conversion is necessary. But we don't have to do conversion for every input retrieved, only for those that should be a number. Okay, in this case, only weight and height. Okay, so now we're going to do something similar to what we did in the original phase 2. Okay, let me just copy this part over here, and then I will put it. Okay, just alternative. However, we're going to see that this, although it will work, as you will see, however, it's not very good practice. Okay, but I'll explain it to you in just a moment. Okay, what about the contents? So now we can say the name over here, the saying has BMI plus, and then whatever BMI that we calculated. Okay, so now you can see the contents over here. The contents over here is in contrast with the contents over here. They're different, right? Over here, we simply print out the weights, text weight, and text height. But here, we actually try to convert weight and height into numbers, and then we try to do the calculation of the BMI over here, and then we set the new contents to be the new value for this answer text view. Okay, so now let's try it out right away and see what how it is working. Okay, again, we can now click on run over here. Again, they make sure you connect your tablets by the USB cable. Okay, let's cancel this first. And then if you use the lab machine, you have to go to the bottom of the screen and then look for the USB connection. Ask the instructor or the TA if you cannot find it. Or you can go, if you're using your home machine, by running the virtual image. So now you can go to the top, click on devices, and then go to USB and choose ASUS Nexus 7. Okay, it is now connected. Okay, close that. And now what we can do is we can launch again. Okay, you can see now it's over here. And then make sure on the tablets, if it asks you allow USB debugging, just say OK. Okay, it's now active. And now I can say OK, and then we'll wait for the app to be installed and launched. Okay, so now our app has been relaunched for the second time. So this is the third version of our app. The first version was only the view implemented, and the second version was the controller partially implemented, displaying only the inputs. And now the third version, we try to do some further conversion for our inputs for the weight and height, and then we were going to compute the BMI in the controller code. Okay, let's try that and to see if that works. Okay, enter your name, Jackie over here, and then enter your weights, let's say 70 kilograms. Remember, the 70 will be retrieved by the controller as 70 as a string of size 2, 7 and 0, and it will be converted into 70 by the code that we just illustrated. And similarly, if we type 1.70 here, it will be also first retrieved by the controller code as a string of size 4, 1.70, and then it will be also converted into 1.70. So now, as soon as we hit this compute BMI button here, we're actually going to see that it's going to compute a BMI according to the numerical value for 70 and 1.70 for Jackie. If we do that, let's try. Okay, you see that it says that Jackie has BMI 24 point whatever. Okay, so this is a correct value actually, because if you try to do the math, so the weights divided by the square of height, that's exactly the value you will get. Of course, we can try to elaborate this to say the precision is only up to 1 digit or second digit. I can show you how to do it in just a moment. Okay, we can do that later. That's not really the important point here, but at least we can see the correct calculation has been done. So the app seems to be working. So now your question might be, if we can already build a working app by using the view and also the controller, why do we need a model in the model view controller pattern? Okay, so that's really the question we have to address in the next video.